Hello and welcome to our collective worship for this week. The Lord be with you and also with you. It's a lovely sunny day, so I thought I'd come and take a walk outside here in the churchyard at Great Yarmouth Minster. You can see the Minster behind me there, and it's just looking lovely. And do you know what? I brought an old bit of bread with me today, and you can very easily, if you walk through the churchyard, you can feed the birds like this. A lot of people like doing this, and it doesn't take very much, and soon you have a whole load of birds who come squawking. Lots of the gulls, and I've got some pigeons here, and there's a few little crows, little jackdaws as well, and they're all looking very hungry and very anxious. You can see them there, and sometimes also when you let's have a get one on the stone here. Sometimes also you get them you get the squirrels to feed as well. And some people come along and enjoy feeding squirrels. Sorry guys, that's all Father Simon's got today. My hands are empty, it's all gone. And it's a lovely thing to do, and it just sort of makes you feel good. It makes you feel close to nature, and to enjoy a little bit of God's wonderful world, and to know that sometimes you're just helping out a few of God's little creatures, just to have something to eat today. It reminds me of a story in the Bible, because people come here, and I often see people in the churchyard, and they come and they feed the birds. There's a story in the Bible about a man who got fed by the birds. So it's kind of like the other way round. The man was called Elijah. He was a holy man, a prophet of God. Prophets help people to understand and to hear what God is saying. Sometimes that's a difficult thing, and so Elijah had to tell the king some rather difficult news, because the king had been doing some bad things, and he had forgotten to worship God and made an idol out of sticks and stones. And so they told the people to worship that instead, and Elijah said, no. Anyway, it's difficult when you upset a king. So Elijah had to run and hide, and he ran off into the desert. And he came to a place where there was no water, there was no food, and he just thought, I'm going to die here. How on earth can I survive? But then Elijah remembered he needed to trust in God. And at that night, ravens, blackbirds, a bit like the little jackdaw just over there, just behind me, they came at night and they brought food to Elijah. And Elijah stayed there in the desert, in the wilderness, being looked after by the birds. And then this story happened after that. I'm just going to open up and read the next installment, and it's called A Jar and a Jug. Elijah survived for a long time in his raven restaurant, but because there was no rain, the brook eventually dried up and there was nothing to drink. What now? Elijah cried to God. I'll die of thirst if I stay here. I am the real God, remember? God said. Not some statue made of sticks and stones. So I've planned ahead. There's a widow who lives in Zarephath, not far from here. Go and stay with her. She'll take care of you. So Elijah went to Zarephath, and there he found a widow picking up sticks from the ground. Excuse me, Elijah said to her. May I have some bread and water, please? The woman stopped picking up the sticks and stared at Elijah. I don't have any bread, she said wearily. All I have is a handful of flour in a jar and a few drops of oil in a jug. I'm picking up these sticks to make a little fire. I shall mix the flour and the oil into a cake and bake it on the fire. Then my son and I will eat the cake, and I think we'll die, for that's all we have left. It was a sad story, and Elijah felt sorry for the widow. Then he remembered God was a real God, not some statue made of sticks and stones, and God had told him that the widow would take care of him. So Elijah told the woman what to do. "You must trust me," he said, "for I serve the real God, and he's promised to take care of us. Make me a cake out of what you have in your jar and your jug. Make a cake for yourself and for your son too. And I promise you that what is in the jar and in the jug will never run out." The woman trusted Elijah. She did what he told her, just as he promised. No matter how much flour she took from the jar and how much oil she poured from the jug, there was always some flour and oil left. So Elijah lived through the drought, even though it lasted for 3 whole years. With the help of the ravens in a ravine, with oil and flour from the widow's jar and a jug, and most of all, because he trusted the real God, not some statue made of sticks and stones. So there is the story of Elijah. I told you how Elijah started and how he ended up in the desert, in the wilderness, running for his life. And then he met the widow at the place called Zarephath, the widow and her son. I think there's plenty to think about in that story. So I have got 3 questions for you to have a think about today. I wonder, how did God take care of Elijah? I wonder, how did God take care of the widow and her son? 3 questions today. I wonder, how does God take care of you? So 3 questions to have a think and to talk about maybe in your class or in your groups today. Time to think and time to pray. So let's be quiet and still. Dear God, we thank you for the bright sunshine on this lovely day. We thank you for simple things like feeding the birds and enjoying the trees and the sunshine and the nature. We thank you that you care for each one of us. Help us too to care for others. Amen. And let's say the prayer that Jesus taught us to say. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. So, whatever you are doing in your class or after school, I hope you have a good day. Maybe sometime you'll have an opportunity to look after the birds. And when you do that, just remember the story in the Bible of how the birds once looked after someone else. So, may God bless you, God go with you, God help you to be strong, to be kind, to be loving, and to serve other people. Amen. Go in peace to love and serve the Lord in the name of Christ. Amen.